Chapter 2. Into the Wild. The village disappeared behind Nara like a fading dream, swallowed by the cloak of night. Her breath came in short gasps, her bare feet kicking up dust as she ran, her heart hammering with the fear of discovery. The narrow dirt road, uneven and riddled with stones, twisted through the outskirts of town before leading into the blackened tree line ahead. The woods. They were a place of whispered warnings, a no-man's land where soldiers rarely ventured, and bandits claimed their dominion. The villagers spoke of wild beasts, cursed spirits, and the unseen horrors that lurked within. But to Naira, the darkness of the forest was nothing compared to the fate she had just escaped. She sprinted toward it, ignoring the burning in her legs, the stabbing pain in her ribs. The closer she drew to the tree line, the more the night swallowed her. Tall, ancient trees loomed over her, their gnarled branches twisting like skeletal fingers against the sky. The scent of damp moss and pine filled her nose as she crossed the threshold into the wilderness. The moment her feet touched the soft earth beneath the trees, she allowed herself a breath of relief. No turning back now. She didn't stop running, not yet. The warlord's men would come for her at dawn, and if they tracked her this far, she needed to be deep within the forest before daylight. With each step, the noises of the village faded, replaced by the soft rustle of leaves, the distant hoot of an owl, and the rhythmic chirp of insects. Nara's limbs ached, but she pressed forward. She followed the faint trail of a dried-up creek bed, hoping it would lead her deeper into the unknown. She tripped more than once, her feet stumbling over unseen roots, her hands catching on brambles that tore at her skin. But still, she pushed on. When exhaustion finally threatened to collapse her legs beneath her, she slowed, pressing her palm against the rough bark of a tree to steady herself. The forest was vast and untamed, but she needed shelter, somewhere hidden, somewhere safe. Her eyes scanned the shadows, adjusting to the dim moonlight filtering through the canopy. Then she saw it, a fallen tree, its trunk massive and hollowed with age, its roots curled like a protective barrier. It was no home, but it would do. She stepped toward it carefully, brushing aside a layer of damp leaves before crawling beneath the protective curve of the roots. The earth was cold against her skin, but she welcomed it. She was too tired to care. Curling into herself, Naira pulled her mother's shawl tightly around her shoulders, as if it could shield her from the dangers of the world. The night air nipped at her exposed skin, sending shivers down her spine. She clenched her jaw, willing herself to endure. She had no fire, no food, no weapon. But she was free. She let her head rest against the damp wood of the fallen tree, her fingers absently tracing the frayed edges of the shawl. The adrenaline of escape still hummed beneath her skin, making it impossible to rest completely. Her thoughts spiraled, circling back to the image of her father, his tired, resigned face. Would he regret what he had done when he woke to find her gone? Or would he curse her for throwing away their last chance at survival? And what of Lord Jareth's men? How long before they realized she had vanished? Would they track her footprints, follow her scent like wolves? A fresh wave of fear gripped her, but she shoved it down. She could not afford fear. Not now. The darkness watches. The forest around her seemed to breathe, its silence shifting with unseen movements. A rustle in the underbrush made her stiffen. Her pulse jumped as her fingers instinctively curled into the damp earth. An animal? Or something worse? She held her breath, listening. A breeze whistled through the trees, carrying with it the distant sounds of the night, the cry of a fox, the flutter of unseen wings, the shifting of unseen things that lurked beyond her vision. Nothing came for her, not yet. Slowly, Naira forced her body to relax, even as her mind remained alert. Sleep would not come easily, but she would take what rest she could. Tomorrow, she would need to find food. Tomorrow, she would need a plan. But for tonight, she was simply a girl in the woods, free from chains, free from a life she refused to accept. and somewhere, in the depths of the wilderness, a distant roar echoed across the night, a deep, ancient sound that trembled through the earth beneath her. Nara did not yet know it, but the forest was not empty, and something far greater than men had already taken notice of her.